This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, January 9th, 2018, episode 156. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. At Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is the website. It's 2018, and new year, same co-host. Hey, Brian.
Yes. I'm still here.
A very enthusiastic opening here on the program.
Yes. Hey, everybody. If you want to find me on the internet, at Boise Computer on Twitter, or you can go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, I always encourage you to go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. There's a place where you can go join our Discord server. You can join our Steam group. You can go find where our YouTube is. And if you maybe listen to this, you found us on a podcast somewhere, on an app. If you're looking for our live broadcast that we do each and every week, you can go check out our website and go to twitch.tv/infection podcast. And that's every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern. So I'm more welcome to go check that out. And also, maybe if you have found us on YouTube and you want to hear us on the go, we have links for a lot of different mobile apps. Tune in and tune in if you're using an iPhone or using an iPhone or Android device. We got different links for different devices. So it's all on the website, and the right-hand side should get you everything, plus all our past show notes. So if you're looking for a link, maybe we talked about a video, maybe you're listening, you didn't get to see the video, want to go check it out afterwards, you can go to our website, click on that particular episode, and there should be a link, because I always include video links to the YouTube or whatever it is in the show notes. So it should be there. And if there's anything we miss, you should ask us, because that means it was something we were doing on the fly. We can probably supply a link.
Send a nasty email to brian@infectionpodcast.com if the show notes are not to your liking. That's where all the complaints regarding show notes can be received.
And if you don't like the production value, it's Nick at Infection.
It's contact@infectionpodcast.com.
Oh.
Yeah. Brian, obviously not trying to intertwine your personal life into the podcast, but this is going to be going to be the last episode of Infection with a two-armed usable arm.
For a while,
Brian.
Yeah. I mean, it's not forever. I hope it's not forever.
No, it's not going to be forever. But this is going to be for
Thursday,
a while.
This is Tuesday night.
Oh, you're getting it done this Thursday.
This Thursday at 6 in the morning.
Ooh.
So tomorrow's my last day of being able to comb my hair normally and like eat food normally, button my pants up and put on my belt.
Being an adult.
All the normal stuff. Yeah. All the stuff that you learn to do when you're about 5. I'm going to be kind of going back and having to relearn a lot of things. I'm going to have to be using my left hand for a while. I'm practicing, because I have to sign checks and things every week for a thing I'm president of. And so, things like that, you don't think of it, but man, try signing your signature with your left hand if you're right-handed, and you will learn that you write like a 5-year-old, maybe. After a couple times practice, let's see it. I mean, I tell you, try it out. Try signing your name.
I can't even hold it.
I know, the pen feels so awkward. So I have a paper here where I'm just sitting there signing my name over and over again, just trying to get to where it's legible and it doesn't look like just a little kid or, someone with major problems is trying to write this.
There you go.
So there you go. I mean,
there's Nick Craig.
It says me. That's what I see out of that. It's me.
Wow. Now,
so it's very difficult.
Have you hidden your right arm inside your shirt or something like that? Have you been really like trying to go throughout your daily life only with one arm?
Yeah, like I put on deodorant with my left arm only.
I mean, that's not like,
I can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, just like different things. Combing my hair is thing that I don't know. I'm gonna wear a hat a lot unless I have to go to something where I actually have to comb my hair. Because like getting hair gel, it's like, what do? Just put a glob in your hand and then
Me?
like smear it around, and then and then combing is really weird.
See,
like,
I don't do anything
is
to my
awkward.
hair. Isn't it great? It's great.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
that's gonna be
so it's gonna be challenging, and I got to see how long, because I know one guy on my hockey team got this procedure done, and he didn't listen to the doctor's recommendations at all. He didn't do the therapy correctly, and so he still has some problems. And that's my goal. Is I don't want to have problems. I want to have it be when I go back to play hockey, like I can play normally again, and not have any issues. And so I'm going to be waiting the full amount of time. So like I had my last game of the season with my team this past Sunday, and said, hey guys, I'm not playing again until next season, which will be, we call it the fall season. So around July-ish.
Just in time for PAX.
Possibly. Yeah, July, August, around there. I'll be playing again. So, but I should be, if everything goes correctly, I should be able to have full movement. And I'll have a lot of physical therapy. So we'll see how it all goes. I'm nervous because I've never been, the most major surgery I've ever had done is my wisdom teeth. That's it. Like I've never been cut open or anything like that. They knocked me out for my wisdom teeth, and that I had no issues with. But that's pretty much the most advanced surgery I've ever had. And that's not really anything. That's just taking some teeth out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brian, we wish you the best. And depending on Brian's recovery, he may be here next week. There's a chance, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's a chance you may be looking at the Nick Craig Hour on Infection Podcast next week. We're gonna be jammed. We're gonna be spinning some records, talking about video games, getting those DMCA takedown notices. It's gonna be hot. Tune in.
Well, my main concern is if I'm having to take a lot of painkiller, you know, like
I love H1Z1. It's the greatest game.
H1Z1. I don't know why people quit playing H1Z1. If I start saying that, just end the show.
Yeah, looking for a new co-host. Tweet me at Infection Podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Accepting applicant must be able to speak good English, and not be Australian. Sorry, Joe.
Well, I mean, you could ask the guy from Hot Drop to come and do a segment.
Oh, Danny, Danio.
Dano.
Yeah,
Dano. Yeah,
it's a good idea.
I mean, I haven't talked to him. I'm just like.
Yeah, you just just totally put him on the spot. Like, hey, hopefully you're available
But
next Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern.
That's always something you could consider, is just how, even if it's not very long, like just depending on how I feel.
I may record something this week then. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll know a lot more on Saturday.
Okay.
Like, because Friday I'll probably be fairly like in bed, just saying I don't feel good on Friday.
Poning noobs in Call of Duty.
Yeah, and then hopefully having enough use of my right hand. The thing, okay, so here's a fun story since we're here.
This is a real podcast. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so probably what will happen on Thursday is they'll put, I think it's called a block in my arm, where they totally numb the whole nerve for your arm.
Blech.
So like Thursday, my whole arm for probably a whole day will just feel like it's not there. Like you can go like this with your fingers, and they just flop down, you know.
It's pretty effed up.
You won't be able to, you can't even feel that anyone's touching your hand. So
better be careful.
That's going to be Thursday, like for 24 hours. So that's where Friday, like I'll just be getting used to my arm again, and I just don't know how I'm going to feel. But that's going to be the weirdest kind of a feeling of not, that's kind of a creepy, like maybe a little bit of a panic moment when you can't feel a whole piece of your body anymore.
Absolutely. Well, Brian,
so, I'm just being open with you.
No, I appreciate it. Of course, we wish you the best. For people that, I mean, Brian and I have known each other for 4 years, maybe 5. It's been a while.
I think more than that. Yeah.
So Brian and I have been friends long before the podcast. Of course. So of course we wish Brian well, and he'll be back. Don't worry. We're not replacing him, even though he may not be here next week. The Nick Craig variety.
I don't plan on dying, so
no.
So I should be. I'll be back.
So we should be good to go. And if you know, we'll have something here next week. No matter what, we'll have something next week, Tuesday at 7.
Yep.
But let's jump into it. We've got a whole bunch of news, but before that, as I said that, I looked back at the show notes. CS:GO Played some of that over the Friday night game night. As fun as always, very rage-inducing. I'm very bad. And a lot of people showed up. We had 8 people or 9 people, which is big for recent Game of the Weeks. Our numbers have been struggling past couple of weeks. Obviously, it's around Christmas, so not.
I mean, yeah, we had the Christmas and then Thanksgiving before that. I mean, it's just it's that time.
People are busy traveling, so on and so forth. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, PHVCK being MLG Pro, pulling down like 25 kills a match, and me going like 1 in 18 or whatever it is. So that was fun. And coming up this Friday, which hopefully I'm here for. Brian will not be here, obviously.
No,
my goal is to be here. I may have to travel for work. So, but either way, we're going to be playing Unturned. That will be this Friday night. We've been talking about Unturned. You've heard about Unturned a lot in the past. We've played it.
Some new maps and content.
New map. The Hawaiian map, I don't think we've played. We did. We played it right when it came out.
The Hawaii one last time. Yeah.
It was right when it came out. So there's been changes. There's a lighthouse in it now. There's like helicopters and stuff like that. So we'll probably jump onto the Hawaiian map on Unturned. If you want to join in on that, it's Friday night. We could even play Greece, which I think is the newest map. We'll figure it out. But Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern in our Discord, infectionpodcast.com. Click the Discord link on the right-hand side of the page, and it will get you connected in there. And we'll get a group together around 7:45, 8:15. We'll get everybody ready. We'll find a server, and we will go. We'll go and load in. And of course, Unturned is free. So if you're hanging out Friday night, you have zero excuse not to be playing with us. So, of course, we'll have half the group complaining that the game sucks because it's too hard. But that's just what Unturned is, because it's a very and if you've never played Unturned, you have to play it and try it, because it's incredible how tough that game is. It doesn't look like it. Watch the videos, watch the screenshots. It looks like some easy Minecraft ripoff. That game is incredibly challenging. Incredibly challenging. So hopefully you'll join us for that.
And then I think the week after we'll be doing tabletop is what I've requested, just so I can actually play.
Yes.
I need something we can click with one hand on.
And we may actually do that for a couple weeks. We may do that for like two weeks or so. And we've also been playing impromptu tabletop games on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you're hanging out on a Saturday and Sunday, maybe you don't keep Discord open. Keep it open, because we had a group of 5 or 6 playing board games the other day. And we've been playing some impromptu board games. We go in phases. We will get our regular scheduled board game thing back into its normal phase here. So we'll announce that here in the next couple weeks. But we will have our regular scheduled board game, which is typically once a month, and then just impromptu things from time to time.
Yep.
I think that's it for internal PR stuff, Brian. Where we got a whole bunch of news. Different games. Anywhere specifically you want to start?
Well, do we want to jump to a game, or we want to talk a little bit, because there was that swatting incident that I don't think we talked about really last week. We talked a little bit off the air. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss that at all today.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So this swatting thing, this is a couple of weeks old. This happened between our. This happened when this happened.
I think this was in our off week, right?
Well, it was our off week. This happened during our Christmas show, which we recorded early, so it was like 3 weeks of shows that we missed. Essentially what happened here. Of course, everybody's familiar with swatting, the term of calling the SWAT team, saying somebody is murdering their entire family or somebody's got people hostage, then the SWAT team and the police show up, break down the door, break into the house. So on and so forth. So Call of Duty, which is a game we've talked about a lot, people take it very seriously.
Yep.
I mean, I get pretty pissed off when I lose, but I mean, this is like next level. This is next level stuff here. So you essentially had 2 people that were going back and forth in the game. One swatted the other, but gave the SWAT team the wrong address, so they showed up to a different house and killed a guy at a different address, which is insane.
And, I mean, and I mean, part of this, it's wrong of the guy to have done this in the first place.
Uh-huh.
Right. But also there's a lot of comments going on about the police department and the fact that this could even happen.
Yeah. Well,
Like
yeah.
they went marching on based on just something someone said. What he had told police was that someone had an argument with their mother. The father had been shot in the head, and the shooter was holding his mother and brother and sister hostage.
Which is pretty
and
common.
That was what they were walking up to the house.
Exactly.
Assuming.
Yeah. Which is serious, and without getting political, there is always this first tendency to be like, oh, police officers and cops are just ready to kill people. If I was walking up to a house and the idea was there's an armed man that has his entire family hostage and is threatening to kill them, I mean, me personally, I would be in such an elevated level of, I guess it would just be, your body's pumping. I mean, you're assuming that you're going to have to walk into this house and potentially kill somebody or find 3 or 4 dead people, which I can only imagine what kind of situation that is. So that's kind of the setup here. The guy answered the door, and they pretty much just shot him. I mean,
as he was coming up to the door, which it was where the concern is.
Yes, they shot so I've listened to and watched recaps of people that used. This was really the fact that police departments are still falling for this crap is ridiculous, because this was big and popular like 2012, 2013. Literally everybody that was major on YouTube was getting swatted. And the fact that they haven't caught on to that is just it's a little disheartening, but nevertheless, this one guy came to his door with a shotgun, and he's lucky the SWAT team didn't shoot him. Not this story, but another YouTuber. But they shot this guy way too early. And and I
haven't seen any report that he had any kind of a gun.
No, he just came to his front door. The police, what they probably screamed, whatever town or municipality he lives in, police opened the door, and he comes down to the door, and they shot him and killed him.
So, and that's just something like Soup is bringing up. You need to confirm a threat before you fire off a weapon. And that's in their training, is to try to, first of all, give a command, see if a command is followed. But still, even if it's not, like, there needs to be a actual act then of, just because he's not following commands, if he's not acting in a hostile, some way being hostile towards you, there's got to be a line there. And that's tricky for the police, because you got to think, coming into this situation, you want to go home. But, me being a person who's sitting here streaming on the internet, I don't want the risk of having something like this pop up in my life, and have to worry about something like this happening. And it's just sad that it happens. And I think that if they, first of all, they can hold the police officer accountable for possibly not following protocol as he should have, or whatever, have that follow however it's supposed to go. But I think they need to fully prosecute the guy who put in this false claim. This could be, they could come off with these murder one. Whatever level of murder or attempted murder.
It would be first degree murder. No, it would be first degree manslaughter. He didn't physically kill
manslaughter.
But nevertheless, just. And of course, Soup brings up, remember, the guy also that answered the door literally has no freaking clue what's going on. You literally answer the door, and the SWAT team is there with shotgun pointed at you. And
you think, if you are following the law, if you're not doing anything illegal,
you just show up to the door.
You just say, "What are you doing in my house?" If you're somebody who's actually breaking the law and you have a concern that police may be there, at least you have an idea of why they're at your front door. Like, you may not admit it, but you know why they're there. Just some random citizen has no clue. And it may take a second for you to process the fact that there's people in masks, there's people in full riot gear coming into your front door, and what's going on. So,
yeah, I don't believe, honest to God, I don't believe, I don't want to sit here and blame the police or blame, obviously you blame the jackass that called this in. But honest to God, I mean, I can't imagine. There's a lot of opinions being spewed out about this, and I can't imagine being on either side of it. I can't imagine being the officer or SWAT team that is responding to, assuming that there could be a mass murder going on for all intents and purposes. Or on the other side of it, you show up to your door and there's just a whole bunch of. I mean, I don't know how I would react. I mean, honest to God, I mean, I'm liable to get myself killed. I mean, who knows? I just really don't know.
Who did this call, he actually is wanted in Calgary for doing something similar.
Yeah,
that one was not fatal, but he was charged by Calgary police for doing the exact same thing to someone else.
And to be clear, this was over a wager in game. These guys bet like $2.
It was over 25 cents, I think, is what they were.
Interesting.
Oh, it was $1.50.
$1.50.
Yep. So this was over $1.50 bet in Call of Duty.
That's extreme.
And the guy who was shot, I mean, he was 28, so he was a young guy.
That sucks.
Yep. And so this guy, I mean, he's facing felony charges.
I hope they kill him.
And
I'm a big fan of the death penalty for people like this.
Absolutely. Like I mean,
I'm a big fan of like
you got to make a disincentive to where people realize me making stupid decisions risks putting me at least in prison for the rest of my life. I mean, there's got to be that correlation.
No, I think
there's not a big enough penalty.
I think that's too easy. I think this is a real great use for firing squad. This is a fantastic use for something like that. I mean, seriously. No, come on. I mean, in all seriousness, if you are that screwed up to do something like this, your life. I don't value your life. I value your life like I value this piece of paper. I mean, it's just useless to me. I mean, you're
well, the thing is they're just giving him a felony false alarm charge. That's it. Felony false alarm. So most likely he'll do a little bit of prison time, I would assume, but it's not going to be anything that's. I mean, I can't imagine a false alarm charge having a 20-year sentence.
No, I mean, I'm all for like waterboarding. Make this scumbag really. I'm okay. Yeah, I don't want to get into this anymore. But like, you know, you've really got to be like, if you're gonna do something like this, you don't value your life enough that we value your life. Yeah. I mean, that's my theory behind it. If I'm willing to call the SWAT team to somebody else's house where they could potentially get killed, if I'm willing to do that to another person, I can't put any value on my life. My life cannot be valuable at all. That's my thinking behind it.
Well, and I mean, this was a craze for a while, and
yeah, very
hopefully
popular.
this is something that kind of makes it a thing of the past.
Well, you know, I assumed it was kind of a thing of the past because this was big and popular on YouTube years ago. According to this article, all the way down at the bottom, it's literally the last thing in here. 400 swatting cases happen a year.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. That is way more.
The most likely did not expect them to shoot on sight, but
oh, okay.
you putting someone else in that situation where they're having 5+ guys with, or you know,
an entire SWAT team shows
weapons.
I mean, you're talking 20, 25 people
entering their house, weapons drawn, with ready to shoot. You know, you are putting their life at risk.
If somebody was to have swatted my house in New York, I think I would be dead. Because my reaction would not be very calm, cool, and collected when the police show up my door with guns. My initial reaction would probably not be of the mindset of, oh, the police are here because they think I'm killing my family. It'd probably be like, what in the hell, and then I'm dead. So,
well, we'll follow this. I mean, we'll follow this a little bit because it's still an ongoing case. But I thought it was interesting. That's something that. Sometimes it takes a big thing like this happening, but it can't just end there because there has to be the punishment afterwards. And I think they need to make it well known. Hey, this guy, he swatted somebody, they died, and he's spending 20 years in prison.
You're missing it.
Maybe that'll sink.
You're missing it. This person he swatted did not die. He swatted a third part. That's what makes this even worse. That's why I'm so. Yeah. This one really makes me like you. I mean, I hope you get killed because you didn't just swat some guy online that you knew that you didn't like. You swatted a random guy and killed him. I mean, that's another level of you just being a subhuman. Where again, the air you breathe is not worth it. You no longer deserve to be living on this earth. If you are that much of just a total scumbag. I can see doing it to one person.
I think there's a lot of kids not thinking things through that'd be willing to do this. Maybe they haven't, but I think that there's like a disconnect with reality of the consequences of doing things like this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where I said, if they can make enough of an example of this to where you get the kids talking about it and saying, dude, this guy got like 20 years in prison for doing something stupid. You could stop. I mean, you'd hope that number would cut down from 500.
That's a lot.
Because that's a lot. I mean, that's 400 every day.
Yeah, that's more than a call a day.
Every day, at least there's something happening.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. So there's that case. That one got the chat all lit up. And if you're listening to this after the fact and you have an opinion, this is why we recommend and ask you to tune into the show live, because I mean, we're reading people's feedback, people's comments on this right now. And of course, PH brings up the parenting thing. I mean, we talked about that in the past with microtransactions and stuff like that. This does go back to just having a child that's just out of control and just does not understand the repercussions of their actions. So, just be wary. Be wary of this stuff.
Yeah, teach your kids that there's consequences for actions. Because Absolutely. I mean, obviously, this kid did not understand that there's consequences, or he's never been held accountable for things, and now he is. I mean, he's going to be learning. He's going to be learning here really quick.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
well, let's use this as a stepstone into something else before we get into the actual gaming news. A great video done by Battle Nonsense, who we've shown his videos in the past. His video is a little long here. I think we aired with the H1Z. He does the netcode breakdowns. I think we aired his H1Z1 video. This one's 14 minutes, and I don't want to take away his views on his video, which is I'm not a fan of, even though we kind of do that with Shadowfrax every week. But this is a little longer video. It's really in depth. But he does a network lag test between PUBG, Fortnite, and H1Z1, which are the three king of the kill sort of games. So here is essentially the really watch the video. There'll be a link in Brian. If you could post that link in the chat, that'd be fantastic. There'll be a link in the
link or the video.
The video.
Okay.
It's a really great video. It's 14 minutes long. It goes through, it talks about frame rates and the breakdowns on every game, and then goes into the network lag, which is the main thing. And these are the results. It's a little tough to see. Again, links will be, this is a super high resolution image, and the links are in our show notes at infectionpodcast.com. So kind of zooming in here a little bit. So what you're looking at here is the network lag between two players at 25 milliseconds ping. And the red is the longest delay, the blue is the average delay, the green is the shortest delay. Again, sorry for anybody listening on audio. So out of all of the games, H1Z1, on average, it has the shortest amount of delay in terms of damage and gunfire and movement.
Yep.
Now, movement's pretty close to Fortnite, but they've got damage and gunfire beat by a good 20 to 40 points. Well, it's not points. This is milliseconds, so 42.75 milliseconds, which is less than half a second. So with that, you can see that there. Fortnite comes in not too far behind H1Z1 for damage, pretty 80 across the board for damage, gunfire, and movement, and PUBG, which the lag or the network lag here is extraordinary. 173 for damage.
I mean, everything is at least double, over double of at least like Fortnite, for example.
Now,
and for some things, almost triple.
Yeah. Now, he explains it in the video, and it makes sense from what I've experienced playing. I don't know if you've watched the video yet, Brian.
Yes.
The way that the games send data, most games like H1Z1 and Fortnite send data on a scale that goes up based on the amount of players. So when there's 100 players, it everybody sends a smaller amount of data because there's 100 clients connected than when there's 10. Because when there's 10, they can send more data and it uses up essentially the same amount of bandwidth. PUBG doesn't go on a steady incline. It will send data and then drop and send data and drop. And that's why when people say, oh, you know, shooting lag, it does appear that that is actually the case with the current version of PUBG, because when you're experiencing these dips, the send and receive dips, which are measured in hertz, you could be sending 2 hertz or receiving 2 hertz, and it is you are actually experiencing an extreme amount of lag, and that's why you're getting the longest delay on the damage is 257.5 milliseconds.
And that's a while.
That's incredible.
This, I mean, you'll see, this will be where you will see people taking damage, or you'll take damage from behind a wall.
Absolutely.
So you move behind a wall. The person that's viewing you and shooting at you actually sees you not behind the wall yet. So they're firing at you and it's registering that shot. It's saying, all right, well, to the other player, you are there. So we're going to have you take damage, even though you think you're behind cover, which is a big issue. I mean, that's something that is frustrating. People probably report hackers thinking this. And I think it's going to become something that's even more noticeable now that they have this replay option.
Yeah.
People go back and they see what the other person sees versus what they saw. And I think we'll get some interesting YouTube videos coming out of that, of people posting the different reactions. We'll be talking about it a little bit here, just with the cheating alone, like people going and viewing the replay of the cheater to see what they were doing at the time. And that's, I guess that's the good thing about this replay option, is you get to see what they were doing. Were they cheating? Were they doing anything abnormal? Or is it just that either they're lagging or you're lagging really bad?
Yeah, I would highly, if you play any of those games, I would highly recommend you check out his video here. Again, this is our buddy Battle Nonsense, who's done, he does a whole bunch of netcode. And you can see this image has got a whole bunch of games, like Battlefield, Rainbow Six, the new COD, Overwatch, CSGO. He does an extensive network analysis on these games. So check out the video, but unbelievably surprising. And PH, of course,
yeah, I mean, the shortest delay being 120 milliseconds on damage
is incredible.
Is pretty, yeah, that's pretty bad.
120 milliseconds.
I mean, that's all the other games he's tested are not even close to that.
No, not even on the same scale.
I mean, it's like it's triple pretty much everything else to quadruple, about quadruple.
Oh yeah. So this is I can.
They're going to have to figure this out.
Here's the screenshot.
Honestly.
This is the packets being sent is your scale on the left, and then the scale on the bottom is the time based on how long the game is. So you can see those extreme dips where if you were getting shot in one of those dips, you would be receiving less than 2 packets a second from the server, which is an incredibly low amount of data, which makes it incredibly hard to respond to something going on because you are not actually sending and receiving any information from the server. Practically nothing. Yep. So that's what PUBG looks like, and here is what Fortnite looks like. So you can see that steady incline,
incredibly consistent. Yeah,
as you get more players. And he explains this blurb in the middle. But you see when the game starts off, you're only getting between 8 and 12, and as the game progresses further on, it gets to around 20 when the server can be under a little bit less load because there's less players. So
yep.
I would highly recommend you check out this video. It's very fascinating, and it turns out H1Z1 actually has got some of the best delay time. I mean, you look at this, it doesn't necessarily look as good into a chart, but when testing it in reality, they've got some pretty good some pretty good network time back and forth. Now the problem they've got is with the server they are sending an immense amount of data, and they're not really sending a lot of it back, which he goes into in the video as well. So at one point they're sending 148 hertz and receiving like less than half of that from the player. So The send.
So there's a lot of data they're just collecting.
Yeah, well, the client sending back to the server is much lower than what the server is sending to the client. Which
but they're probably logging something. They're probably logging extra information.
No, other
that
way
doesn't
around.
need to be sent to clients.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? Like they're sending stuff to the server. It's logging probably for reports and for analysis, and then that stuff that they say, oh well, that doesn't need to be returned back to the server, so they're only sending half of it, which is relevant information back.
Absolutely. So there you go. PUBG, he goes through and says they've got to figure this out because you can't. I mean, you just can't consistently play a game when your average damage, gunfire, and movement delay is in the ballpark of 150 milliseconds. Average, not peak, not high. Average. And on the low side, it's 100.
When he does these tests, he does them on a fiber connection. Like he has taken this very seriously and has put a decent amount of money into this testing setup. And so on here, he has 2 computers that are identical that he's testing between with a high quality, low latency fiber connection. And so he tries to get it as accurate as he can. So these numbers that he's seeing, that would be on your best scenario internet connection.
Yeah, and the other thing, this is his testing method was 5 times a day for 4 days is how he did these tests. So he tested it five times a day at different points of the day, and did that for 4 days straight. Now, battery included brings up the point. PUBG is a new beta game, which is not beta which is not beta anymore. Compared to King of the Kill, he does have a point. I mean, we do have to say, as much
PUBG
as
is younger than King of the Kill.
It is. It's significantly younger by like a year and a half, almost 2 years. So while the game itself, see, this is the problem that unfortunately PUBG is running into now. They have produced such a slam dunk product for so long that whenever anything goes a little awry, people are pissed. People are absolutely unequivocally pissed.
Well, when you have millions of people playing it, like one little problem is a big problem.
Absolutely.
Because there's hundreds of thousands of people possibly having that exact same issue, if not more.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's when they have one issue that affects everyone. I mean, that's however many hundreds of thousands of people that are playing it at that time.
Absolutely. So it's affecting a lot of people. And since day one, the game has been pretty good. I even remember when we played it in early access and we had all those keys. While it was a little janky, it was a pretty good game. Like it wasn't insane. It played quite well. It wasn't anything crazy. And they've consistently been a consistent game for now since March. We're going on like 10, 11 months. So as we move forward, this is with the 1.0 update. They've got to figure this out because I mean, this is incredible.
They're not going to be able to continue going forward in a competitive market, like being a competitive online shooting game. If they don't get this fixed,
like CS:GO,
because PH brings up like this can't be considered an esport competitive game with these kind of performance issues.
No, and just for a comparison here, going through this, CS:GO's average delay between damage, gunfire, and movement is somewhere in the ballpark of like 50, while PUBG's is 150. So you're talking an extra 100 milliseconds on average between, damage, gunfire, movement, which is incredible, an incredible amount of latency. So, I mean, there it is.
And I'm sure I can promise you they're working on it. One thing that was mentioned is that they're going to be moving to Microsoft servers. Right now it's on AWS.
Moving to Azure.
It'll be interesting. Yep, Microsoft Azure. So that'll be interesting to see how much of a difference that makes. But they're running all their Xbox clients on that platform already. Maybe these servers will be more friendly.
I don't think so, because Fortnite is running on AWS. So Fortnite is on AWS, and H1Z1, some of their servers are on AWS. So they're all three of those are on Daybreak is not. They've got their own dedicated, but it has the ability to use AWS.
To roll over for high traffic.
Yeah, or I don't know exactly what the details are, but Fortnite and PUBG are both on the same engine, both on AWS Web Service or Amazon Web Services. So very interesting. I mean, moving to Azure, I don't think is going to solve their problem.
Well, and I mean, they've got to look at what is Fortnite doing, what is Epic doing with Fortnite to be able to have something that's more consistent in a very similar type of an atmosphere. And I'm sure that Epic is working with them saying, hey, here's what we did. They're probably going through a lot of their code and trying to figure out where in the world are they losing so much performance? Where is this delay? Because most likely it's somewhere in their code. Things are just not happening in a very optimal manner.
No.
And where Epic probably went through Epic probably went through and did things in an optimized manner. Obviously, Battlegrounds PUBG is not, and so they've got to go through a lot of their code and figure out where is this delay happening, where is the slow response time, because it's not 100% the engine. Epic, still has it has slower performance than H1Z1, but it's nowhere near the bad performance that PUBG has, and that's the same engine as PUBG. Epic makes the engine that PUBG's using. That's what Fortnite is using. So it has the capability of having the same performance as Fortnite.
Yes, realistically.
They just got to figure out where are they dropping the ball at.
Yeah, no, they've absolutely got to figure that out, and they've got to address this. As PH is referencing, he's a big CS:GO player. They cannot and will not compete competitively until you can't compete competitively when there's a possibility that you're experiencing somewhere almost 300 milliseconds worth of delay on damage.
Well, and this is where, for instance, Battery included in the chat brings up, Ninja left PUBG for Fortnite. Ninja being a person who's a CS:GO player who's used to very incredible response times, having it to where there's not these big delays, and if something happens, it's probably pretty accurate to what was supposed to have happened. A player like that will want to go to Fortnite to where their shots register correctly. They get less silly kills on them because of network lag and things like that. One thing you can look at, H1Z1 has put that limit on higher tick rates. One thing that is mentioned in this video is that, let's say somebody starts out the game with a low lag rate, they aren't kicked out of the game. So you'll still have high spots of lag throughout the game, because even if in the middle of the game they get a lot of lag, the server doesn't stop them from doing anything. It will accept their high lag rates, their high tick rates, or high, whatever delays.
Yeah.
So
their latency.
That's something that they may have to look at as far as if someone goes to 250 milliseconds. Now they've got to get it to where it's not them that's the problem. And right now, these 250 millisecond delays is them. And that's not acceptable. It's got to be to where, if a client has a bad connection, you can then say, hey, you need to, they'll pause the client or do whatever until they get a better connection. But right now, they can't even get to an acceptable rate on their own servers. So
they've got
we'll see.
They've got a serious, well, not a problem is not necessarily the right word. They've got a serious issue to deal with here, and how they deal with this. And again, here's the thing: there's like 3 million people playing the game, so some may argue it's not really a problem. And I would agree. For somebody like me, Brian, somebody like you, that's more casual compared to these streamers and these competitive players, I would say maybe it's not really a problem. Maybe for you and me, it starts to become a problem. But for again, PUBG is reaching people. It's reaching more than just your traditional, video game person, your traditional PC gamer. This is reaching people that don't typically play video games, or don't.
Well, they probably won't even realize what's happening. Like they won't realize.
No. They'll say, "Oh,
it's like, oh, this is weird."
Yeah, I died.
Yeah, I died.
Respawn.
Doesn't make sense. Like we know when there's weird shots. We know when something wasn't quite right, and we're not afraid to say it. A lot of these other players will go, "Well, I guess these people are just better than me." That someone shot me from far away.
Yeah.
Or someone shot me when I'm in a room. Half of it's cheaters. There's a huge amount of cheaters, and that's a big problem that we'll be going into. And then this the fact that there's so much lag. I mean, the fact that you can get shot when you're in cover is frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Is that, I mean, you can't stop it.
And we've seen that a lot recently.
Yeah. And I actually had, if you want to jump to, there's a cheaters Reddit. We don't have to go through it, but I just found it interesting.
And just real quick again,
talking about.
Real quick again, this is what we're discussing here, or what we have been discussing, is Battle Nonsense's video between his lag compensation, or his lag test of PUBG, Fortnite, and H1Z1. There is a link in our show notes, infectionpodcast.com, or you could just search it up on YouTube, Battle Nonsense.
And we'll have a link in the show notes for that. So you can go and watch the full video. It's about 14 minutes.
Yeah, definitely check it out. All right, so we've got your cheater thread here, which what a stupid comment.
It says, has anyone noticed an increase in the number of hackers very recently, all of a sudden?
Which is double negative.
Yeah. And then one of the main replies that says, yeah, since the replay feature, you can actually confirm there are a ton of them. That was part of the issue, is how do you know that someone was hacking? How do you know it's not lag?
Yeah.
And this new replay feature has done a lot, because now you can go and watch their video and you see this person just tapping people without, taking a second from halfway across the map. They're just sitting there and single tapping people. And so I was watching through. I didn't want to have us just have 20 minutes worth of video of this happening on here. But that's the thing, is there is a huge amount of hacking going on right now. And that stacked with this whole lag on the server and just bad response times, man, the hacking thing is partially their fault. Part of it is any game that's the hot game right now, like, these guys are putting in full time trying to figure out how to make hacks for it. And so there's a limited amount that they can do, and that's sad. But and they're banning a lot of people. I saw like a week or two ago with BattleEye, 1.5 million bans, I think, in PUBG so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we had mentioned that on here, but
talked about that.
Yeah, 1.5 million. I mean, people are getting banned on this. But there is a video. I think this is, it's a 13-second video, and it just shows somebody doing a spectate of someone that shot them. And it just shows
this guy's just,
like,
randomly shooting. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but he's killing people each time.
Yeah, gets 2 kills.
So, and so that's the benefit, I guess, of this whole new spectate thing, is you can go and say, all right, I'm going to report this guy because I'm pretty confident that, Menglong Lee just killed me illegally.
Now, there's a couple things here. There's a couple of reasons that these hackers are becoming more of an issue, or perceivably becoming more of an issue. First of all, is China. We've talked about it. Brian was the first to bring it up with H1Z1, and since then he's been on the hunt for this with the other games. The amount of players from China is incredible. In Chinese culture, they tend to hack. I shocked the H1Z1 developers when I mentioned that very early in this podcast. That, hey, why don't you do something about the Asia region, because they tend to play video games differently than the other parts of the world, which is it's just a fact. So you're seeing that. You've got, at last check, like 45% of the players were playing in Asia, which is, if you think, I mean, you're talking over 1 million people, no matter how you kind of cut it down. And the other thing too, here's the thing to note, Brian, we're mentioning hackers, we're mentioning the amount of people hacking, we're mentioning getting killed by these people. You also have to look at how many people are playing this game versus games like H1Z1. 20,000 people playing H1Z1 versus 3 million concurrently playing PUBG. No matter what, even if H1Z1 and PUBG were the same, you would have, if H1Z1 had 3 million players right now and PUBG had 20,000, there'd be more reports of hackers in H1Z1. It's just a larger pool. Mathematically, you are more likely to run into a hacker when there's 3 million people playing the game than versus.
And these people tend to gravitate, these hackers tend to gravitate towards the game that's the
Hot
the
stuff.
top game right now.
Yeah.
Like they want to go and they don't want to go into some old, I mean, you still have some people who go into old games and do stuff like that, but usually they want to go into whatever the top game is right now and try to just make people mad or whatever they want to do. I mean, it's mostly trolling. I don't think they can seriously consider themselves competitive. They just want to go and troll people.
Yeah.
And I mean, so with this, I'm assuming that, they've added some new reporting features, and I don't know if we can jump into that, because that's one of the main things that you can do. Now you have the ability to see the video. They put in a lot of things to be able to replay the event. Now this is the server's view of the event. If there was enough lag, there will be inconsistencies. I know PH posted a video showing the replay of one of his things to where it was nothing like his local video.
Yeah, this guy's swimming through the water. And then on the server, he is swimming in midair, and on PH's screen, he's standing up. It's very, very weird.
And so it gets more difficult when there's so much lag and things happening to really trust what the other person saw. But some of these are very obvious just from the replays that they are hacking. So that'll help. But they put out on the 5th, here just a couple of days ago, they put out a notice that said updated user report process. It says, players, as you know, combating cheaters is one of our highest priorities at the moment, and we are doing our best to reduce their numbers down to a minimum. We use a number of automatic and manual methods to continuously detect and deter cheaters and their users. The in-game report function has been helping us greatly throughout the process. All the cheat reports you submit are thoroughly reviewed before any measures are taken. Please use the in-game report player tool to report suspected cheaters, teamers, team killers, and users with improper nicknames. So on this, they have a new report system inside of the game. It used to be originally, when they first released, you had to go to their publisher's website, which wasn't even the main PUBG website.
Nope.
And then they had some form you filled out, and you put, what's the player's name? What was the time? Do you have any, like video evidence or anything like that? And then that's how you would submit it. So now you have the ability inside of the game. And one thing they do mention on here is, if you think that, if you're going to use the excuse, if you're hacking, you're going to use the excuse that somebody stole your Steam account, they say on there, make sure you get two-factor authentication on your Steam account. Because that shouldn't be an excuse. And if you have two-factor authentication, pretty much it's a guarantee that, it wasn't somebody hacking your account and playing as you. I think that'll become less of an accepted excuse here in the future. So there's a new way you can go in there. They also have a link to the rules of conduct if you want to see what you are not allowed to do. They have a customer support website. They have a customer support guide on their forums that you can go check out. And so this is all of them trying to combat just the number of hackers, because there are a huge number of hackers still happening. Someone in the comments put hashtag region lock China. And that's one of the comments.
We've been saying it for years, literally years now.
Okay.
We've been doing this podcast long enough that I can say we've literally been saying something for years.
Yes, for years.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something interesting that I saw on the PUBG Reddit.
That's a great Reddit,
There is
by
a
the way.
tool. Yes, there's a tool in China, and there's a link here. It's in Chinese, and I put some images of the translation.
Yep, appreciate those.
For it in English. But this is something actually released by Tencent. Oh, is it Tencent?
Tencent,
Right?
I believe.
Is that Tencent?
Yeah.
So this is actually a tool released by them, because someone went in and looked at the SSL or some sort of certificate in there, and it's registered to them. So someone was playing in an internet cafe, and whenever at this cafe, they had all this stuff pre-installed, and they were saying, like, are cheats pre-installed at the cafe? Because the software was on there. And the concern is, I mean, it gives you some nice statistics in this, just as far as information about the performance and timing. Like, it'll show a timer on the screen for the countdown, take screenshots of when kills happen, things like that. But one of the issues is there's actually a picture of the map that shows when you're playing, that shows where all of the items are.
Yeah.
And so it shows you where vehicles are, it shows you where everything is, and this is on your screen. It's on your map. It's overlaid onto your map, and so it's just kind of strange. Like this would be considered a cheat, but it's put out by the publishers of this mobile app that they're doing.
Well, they're the ones that are publishing the actual game in China as well. I believe. I don't believe Bluehole is actually publishing this game in China. I could be wrong.
No, I think it's, I don't know. I don't know exactly where that's going to go. I mean, they've got this mobile version, and they really do need to do that full China release. But this is installed there as a standard thing, and I don't recommend that anybody go. First of all, it's going to be in a different language.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. Let me give somebody a quick note. Do not install foreign programs. And you can't read the language. I installed QQ many months back. Almost had to reformat my computer. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
It was really
We're having to look up screenshots of what the menus were saying to try to get the thing uninstalled.
Thank God for Brian and PH, because I did it on a Tuesday like an idiot half an hour before
the show.
It was scary. I was like, it installed all these applications, and there's the QQ web browser. It changed my default homepage and all this stuff. Default browser, default media player. I'm like, oh my God. Yep. It's taking over my computer. So do not install this if you can't read Chinese or know somebody that can read Chinese, because you are screwed.
Yep. And so this is that PUBG tool. If you want to go see you can use the translate feature in your browser, and it'll show you a lot of the stuff. But it's PUBGtool.com, and as it says, you can look up there. It has your records, automatic screenshots, timing assistance, performance display, ammunition tips, Internet Cafe's activities. I don't know. It says the current Internet Cafe exclusively eats chicken activities. I think that's the chicken dinner. That's the winter chicken dinner. It translates. You gotta think how these things are said in this language versus how we understand them will be very different.
It's pretty good,
if you're reading it.
I mean, most of these are pretty good.
Yeah.
It just says, know thyself. I wish you all the way to victory.
Yeah. So this is a piece of software, and I assume it's legitimate. But I wouldn't recommend
on here.
Well, no, it was in the I think it was in the app they had pulled it.
Ah, interesting.
Like in the actual application itself, like they had gone in. There was a screenshot of it that I didn't include, but it did say that company. So very strange.
Yeah, here's an article. Thyself is the one that publishes it in China.
So they're going to be publishing the actual China-friendly.
Yeah, that's what it says. Promises socialist values. Thyself brings the world's hottest video game to China. Promises socialist values. From Reuters in November. Thank you, PH, for the link. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. Actually, it's not.
Well, let's quickly go over the patch 2.
Before
so this
you
is
do
the PC
that,
one.
Let's start our giveaway off here. We're about an hour into the program.
Let me go ahead and get it started. I don't know if you want to start, and then I'll get it opened.
So, of course, version 1.0 of PUBG is here, full release. It's on the Xbox. I still have yet to get a copy of that. I've reached out to a couple people, have not heard back. But we're continuing to look for that. So, this is the second update for version 1.0. Of course, as always with all of these games, they're working on stabilizing game performance and tweaking things. And going through here, a couple of things that they worked on. So inside the world, they added more objects around La Bendata on Myanmar to increase the amount of cover. Gameplay, they reduced the visible distance when parachuting down in order to test the optimization of the server and client's performances at the early phases of the game. They changed the design of the energy drink. It looked just like a Red Bull, so maybe they realized, hey, this probably isn't the smartest idea. Adjusted the squad colors to better reflect their call-out names, yellow, orange, blue, and green. Adjusted squad team colors to make them more consistent. Added a function where a player can select more detailed criteria for the cheating category in the in-game report tool, which Brian was just talking about, so you can actually select what happened. You can choose multiple items, or you can just report without selecting any of them. So it allows you to kind of hone those in a little bit. Replays, the player's nameplate is on the H key, so you can check their current one by pressing the G key. Add a report button to the replay, which we saw. Going through just a couple more things with replays, added icons, solo mode was added when the player won the match. That was added to it as well. Some bug fixes, nothing crazy here, just the things where animations freeze, the red zone disappears, players land and they can't move, or they teleport, mouses disappearing, stuff like that. Now, before I get into this, let's you want to announce the giveaway here, Brian? This is the next thing's a little long here.
Yep, no problem. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Cosmonautica, and this is a game that that's about $10 right now on Steam. It is a simulation space strategy indie trading game. So, Cosmonautica, and I will put a link into the chat so you can go check out the Steam page for yourself. But exclamation point giveaway will get you entered into that.
Thank you very much. And all right, so back to PUBG here real quick. Some new content. So they've added crates, and these they've had crates, but they've added a free and a paid crate. So you can open,
which he has said he was going to do. Like that was something they've talked about.
Which, in my opinion, I'm not going to say this is or isn't why they've released version 1.0, but in my opinion, if they were still in alpha, doing this would have caused an internet storm and a crap storm. I would use a different word to describe it. And I mean, they saw what happened with Ark. I'm sure they kept an eye on Ark. Ark decided they're going to charge for DLC, which was literally a whole nother map in alpha, and all hell broke loose. So, you know, we want to see what goes on with that. So they've added that. You can open the paid crate box with an early bird key, which is purchasable in the Steam Marketplace. Can you look up for the price for that? I don't know if that'll show up in the when you don't have the game open. So you can purchase that key and do that. In order to test stability, each account on the test server, this is test server only, will receive 100,000 BP battle points and 6 keys, so that you can go through and actually open stuff and check the stability and stuff like that. And then they go through the breakdown of the crates, which we're not going to get into, all the different things that are in here, but that's pretty big. Crates is a very, very serious thing. We've seen how games like Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike work with crates, and that seems to be the way to go. It seems like it's a huge cash cow. If it done right, the community really enjoys it. Players that like using crates, unlocking crates, paying for crates, enjoy it. Players that don't, like myself, don't notice anything different. There's that very good mix between wanting to use them, not wanting to use them, and everybody can just kind of blend together. Doesn't affect my gameplay, doesn't affect their gameplay, so on and so forth. So we'll see here if PUBG can kind of straddle that line and not get too overboard with doing.
So I'm not seeing a set in stone price, but there's some speculation saying the earlier bird key unlocks the Desperado crates, but it's safe to assume it's going to cost about $2.50, like the Gamescom key did. So if they follow the same thing that the Gamescom key was, then that was $2.50. But I'm not seeing an exact number anywhere saying here's how much it costs. It's kind of strange. And I'm not seeing any place you can go buy them. So they must have a special portal that you have to click into to be able to get to the purchase page for this.
Yeah. So there you go. Crates are in the game. If you're somebody that enjoys crates, loves paying for stuff like that, you can do so. You now have the ability to unlock those or purchase those keys, unlock those crates. And again, good. While I don't like microtransactions and stuff like that, I don't care that other people do. It has never bothered me that people want to pay to unlock or use certain features in the game. It has literally never bothered me. What does bother me is when games like H1Z1 cater the game towards you buying a crate, which just ruins my experience as somebody that doesn't buy those things.
One thing that I like. Oh, one thing is $2.50 for the key. So I found somewhere that seems like they're actually answering that correctly. One thing I do like though is he does give the exact percentage drop rates of each item, rather than saying, "Oh, it's a purple item, it's rare, or it's a common item." They give you, here is, for instance, this one turtleneck is an 8% drop chance. The cloth mask, the leopard cloth mask that is on the screenshots, that's a 0.16%. It's way less than 1% of a drop chance.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. If you're in gambling, they don't tend to give you the statistics. I mean, they give you you're a 1 in a million, right? This I think is a kind of a little bit better of a way to do it, of actually saying, here is the percentage chance that you're going to have, like a 0.01% chance for this thing to drop, so that you go into a little bit more realistic expectations of, and I'd have to open up how many of these, hundreds of these things, to kind of almost guarantee that I'm going to get this one item at $2.50 a piece. It puts in just perspective a little bit why some of these things are so highly priced in the Steam store. Because, if it's a 0.01% chance of that dropping, someone's opening up a lot of long sleeve red t-shirts.
Yeah.
To be able to get that.
Hat.
Yeah. To be able to get that one, cloth checkered mask. So I'm glad that they put that on there. I can only imagine what H1Z1's percentages are. I mean, it's probably something very similar, 0.01% for some of these ultra rare items.
It's just nice to know up front, I think is what you're getting to.
Yeah, it's nice to know, okay, most likely I am not going to get, I mean, kind of like that lesson that I talked about last week with my wife of, okay, you've never opened a crate before. Here you go.
Enjoy.
Experience this.
It sucks.
Yeah, experience disappointment.
Yeah.
And we're not getting any more. So, this, when you go in there, at least all right, here's probably what I'm going to get. Very, very likely. And it's a good life lesson for some people.
Oh, geez.
So
just, yeah.
Throw your headphones off.
Yeah.
I
knocked my mic and it knocked my headphones off.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it is.
So I think that's it for PUBG.
Yeah. No, it's still, I mean, it's a lesson. And I mean, here's the key thing here. Can they allow players that want to buy keys and leave people like me alone? Because I'm not going to buy, doesn't matter what happens. I'm never paying $250 to unlock anything in this game. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. So it's my experience.
Especially when I'm probably going to get this low end skin.
It's not even that. I just have no interest. I mean,
not gonna bother.
Brian, I know you're really into this stuff. Cosmetic stuff, changing, and you don't necessarily buy crates, but you're really into design, laying out your character and stuff. I don't care. I literally, I don't even think my character has clothes on in PUBG, because that's what the default is, and I just haven't bothered to change it.
The one that I don't really like, Arc, I don't really care for some reason. Like, I just hit default on Arc every time.
Because I'm not surprised you're not in there with all your faders clicking everything. I literally have never customized.
I remember the first time I went in there and made a character look a certain way, and then I was just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, default. I changed the eye color. That's what I do. And I click. Okay. So.
Well, my wife was kind of upset because on her character, to test the server, I logged in under her character, and so I just created some really ugly character, and I didn't realize that, of course, when she goes in, she's like, "Oh, I don't want the character that looks like this." She wants to create her own ugly character. And so when you do the new one, like, it deletes the progress of your character.
Correct.
And I had everybody starting at the level that they left off on the previous server. Yeah. And so that so she started at level 1. So I had to award her some levels, because I just deleted like 50 something levels.
She got a little hookup. She knows the server admin. Yeah. All right.
So anyways, if you did play on our Ragnarok server, if you log into our Aberration server, you should be starting out at the level, not with all the items, but the level of what you are on Ragnarok.
I do still need to get it. I have not been able to actually install the DLC because I do not have enough room on my hard drive. I've got to move things off because it's like 60 gigabytes. on top of the already other 60 gigabytes that the game already takes up for the regular map. So my goal is to hopefully jump in there some point between this week and next week. Yeah. So there you go. Do we want to do our giveaway here? Got a couple people in here, right?
All right. Yep. Let's go ahead and we will pick it. All right, McWallace 420. Congratulations.
It's a new name.
I will send you a message, and it will probably be in your other messages, but it'll happen throughout the show. So before the end of the show, you should have a message from me with a link to be able to redeem your game. So congratulations, McWallace 420.
And thanks for following the channel. Unlike Jones,
yes,
who won a game last
week. Who wins
week,
and then doesn't want to follow.
Not a follower. Not a follower.
Well, I think he followed after he won.
Did. He did. And no, it's funny because you asked him. You said, "Did you follow?" And he's like, "Yes." And our bot announces when you follow.
And then, like, right after that,
it's like, "Oh, Jonesy followed the channel." It's like, gotcha. You didn't follow. So that was pretty funny. Well, we're gonna be playing Unturned this week for Game of the Week again, 8 p.m. Eastern in our Discord. You can find the links to that, infectionpodcast.com. So it makes sense. So we'll talk about an update from Unturned. A little out of order today, but we'll get through all of it.
Yeah, I didn't put these in any particular order.
We'll just keep rock and rolling. This is update 3.23.2.0. This was on January 5th, so just a couple of days ago. A couple of things added here. It added the ability to the salvage market cosmetics and skins for crafting materials. Added a basic server client UI formatting, so there's now more formatting in the server. Added barricade and structure salvage requested event for plugins. These don't really make any sense. Improved NPC error log to suggest missing values. Improved objects to work with time of the day conditions. Tweak server list to hide results with bot players. A couple of other fixes, and then they go through some of the things that they've added. The bunker area has been transitioned into a workshop after being featured in the curated map section. So that has been moved. It's no longer available for sale. It can be traded on the market, and you can find the map on the workshop. So there you go. It's update 3.22.2. Seems like more of an advanced one. It doesn't really affect general players a whole lot, but it is nevertheless an update. And again, we'll be playing this game Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, our Discord, infectionpodcast.com.
Very good. All right, so I don't know if do you have a preference on where we go from here, or we can just move on? All right, cool. So one thing I wanted to talk about, let's jump into the 7 days to die, because it's going to be probably a month still, or a month and a half. At least after January, and who knows, because they tend to not promise anything, but yeah, exactly. but this is going to be, these are some notes for Alpha 17. So I just wanted to kind of give, because that's one thing I did with Alpha 16 was give people a heads up of what was coming. And on here, they have a feature list of what to expect in Alpha 17. They have some things that they dropped that will not be in Alpha 17 that maybe they talked about before. So, and we did discuss a little bit of this, but the vehicle overhaul, they're doing totally new physics for they're having the bicycles, the motorcycles, new camera controls, space bars allows you to do bunny hops if you want to ride around and be crazy on your bike. They have the vulture sleepers that they're going to be putting in, and they're redoing the sleeper systems. So when the zombies are not around, like when you're not around the zombies, and then as you walk up to them, how they react and how they spawn and things like that. They're doing a dungeon POI 2.0, so having environmental hazards, zombie closets, climbable trellises and or vines, backstories for many of the points of interest, helper blocks that visually show whether containers are empty or lootable, and then they're having a random loot container to make each POI unique for where loot may be, so that there's a reason to go raid those POIs, get something unique. They did player motion capture, which we showed a little bit of those videos of for the male and the female movements. Same thing for when you're riding on the bikes and the vehicles. They're overhauling the weapon system, replacing gun parts with attachable modifications compatible with buffs and skill framework. Whole guns instead of parts in loot containers. So you're actually finding guns, not just like here's a barrel for a gun. Weapon quality determines how many mods can be attached to it. Mod quality determines how much effect they have on the weapon. Removing a mod has a chance of damaging or destroying the weapon. The size of the crosshair accurately reflects the cone of hit probability, so the accuracy of it. All mods use a single item ID, but allow for 30,000 plus variable mods possible. So it'll be one item, but they'll have a lot of, sounds like random stats for those items. They're overhauling the buff system. So they're replacing the old buff system with a more robust system and optimized framework designed to work and stack with items like weapons, clothing, skills, perks, and attributes, and can be triggered and modified by events during buff's lifetime. They're going to overhaul the progression system. They're integrating a survival system, so changes to how health, stamina, fullness, and hydration work. They're not giving details on that yet, but those will come later. Then they're doing a quest system. And one thing that they'll have is dynamically spawning a boss to guard quest objectives. So kind of giving you things to do. Once you've discovered the whole map, then there's stuff to do beyond that to get the better guns, to go do quests, things like that. Now, one thing that two things that they dropped is they're not having behemoths and they're not having zip lines. They discussed having zip lines in the game to cross maybe between bases and things like that. And they're not going to be having that. And then the behemoth, which I think was just a very large zombie type, they're not going to be doing that. They are fixing the autumn or the maple forest, given an autumn colors palette. Every biome has been remastered for Unity 2017. They updated to Unity 2017, which is the latest for their engine. They removed player collision from Yucca and Aloe to improve traveling, so you don't have to go like kind of move around those things. They replaced houses with Dyersville with dungeon-style POI houses. XP indicator bar has been added to HUD directly above the tool belt. DirectX 11 support has been added, and Vulkan support, which is the screenshots, I think, right?
Those are the 3D screenshots? Yeah, I believe
3D
so.
screenshots. Zombie ragdolls, upon impact by vehicles, no longer impede vehicle movement, so you can plow through people without it's making your vehicle stutter, or through zombies. They redid the art and animation for the deer, and they now have a stag and a doe version of the deer. And then also they added some additional paint textures. Wainscoting block has been added. Current wellness system has been removed. And they just added some decorative things for it. So that is what we can look forward in Alpha 17. So that should be coming in the next, month and a half, I would assume.
I mean, I don't know.
Like. You never know.
I mean, it could be 3 weeks. It could be 3 months. There's just really no way to know with 7 days. But when that comes out, unfortunately, Brian, you will be kind of unable to really play extensively, depending on when that comes out. But we will spin up a private server like we did in the past with Alpha 16, and we'll play through it. And we actually had a really good time last time.
And there's enough new stuff. I think with the dungeon POIs and all this stuff, that'll be a lot of fun. And I think it'll feel different enough to where it'll be a fresh experience. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
So that is what you can expect for 7 Days to Die.
Very cool.
Now let's go ahead and let's go through. There's not a huge amount of changes. We'll just run through the ARC changes really quick. There's 4 patches on this one.
Okay.
The 276.21. This was on January 6th. And I'm going to list off first some aberration specific changes. They fixed battery charging rate inaccuracy on power nodes. The surface hyper, and if you haven't played aberration, some of these things may not make sense to you. New terms. Surface hyper power nodes now recharge 2 times faster. Crafting an element now gives 3 element items. And boss projectiles now target invisible rock drakes. And the final one for aberration specifically is camera shake slider now scales down the earthquake shakes, except when rock climbing, where it's critical to avoid falling. And then here's some general ARC fixes. They fixed several cases where you could get through the world geometry, massively improve the tamed Reaper stats. They fixed aberration kibble crafting, aberration baryonyx now yields correct aberrant egg. And then on Ragnarok, they fixed the over spawner issue and trigger issues. 276.3, this was on the 7th, the next day. They fixed a camera shake slider not scaling earthquakes properly shaking. The same thing. Maybe it was, I don't know. It's only on aberration, so they must not have done it right the first time. The aberrant berry eggs now properly drop. They fixed an issue where turrets would target focus tech saddle projectiles but do no damage. And they fixed an issue where heavy turrets would improperly track or spend ammo shooting tech saddle projectiles. And then 276.4, and this was on the same day, they fixed an issue with the island Ascension, where Ascension was not awarded to the player properly. And then 276.41, this was on the 9th, so this is today. They made glow sticks not grindable, and they fixed an animation-related server crash. So that brings us current with Arc. And if you haven't, Nick, you really need to try Aberration. It is a beautiful, beautiful map.
I want to try it. I just have to move things off my computer, which is not the easiest. Well, it's just sitting down and doing it.
You just need to get another hard drive.
Well, I actually do need to get another hard drive. I think I'm going to get another hard drive just for games. I think I'm going to get just another 2 terabyte drive and just put my games on that.
Yeah.
See, the problem is I work with a lot of video stuff with Infection, and those files are quite large, and I don't keep that many shows on my actual hard drive, but I've probably got 20 episodes on here. And they're a couple gigs a piece. So it adds up. Let's see. Yes, I've got 26 episodes.
That's the thing is, even with mine, I run out of space. I need to have like an extra hard drive that's not on my RAID that I just store stuff under.
Yeah, I have 65 gigabytes for actually. Well, that would explain my secondary drive is only 1 terabyte. So I guess I could just upgrade that to a 2 terabyte and I should be good to go.
There you go.
So we'll
very good. All right.
Brian's gonna buy me a 2 terabyte hard drive. You heard it here first.
First, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you.
Late Christmas.
H1Z1. We got some H1Z1 stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so 2 different things, of course. Just Survive. Here's a little quickie for Just Survive. Oh, that is not your that's you. Me. Okay, so they start the post with, of course, Happy New Year. And then this patch was available on the 3rd, and it does not include a wipe. Couple of quick things. They actually did an event right this time. Their Holly Jolly Rampage event, which we talked about a couple weeks before Christmas. They did it right. It was a short event, lasted like a week and a half, 2 weeks. They changed the weather and stuff like that. So that event has ended, and the weather pattern has returned to normal, as it should have been before. They fixed an issue causing players and zombies to render as what they call a stickman character at a long range, which I think that is just the black line that you would just see that would indicate it's a player. For anybody that's played H1Z1 specifically in the past, enemies in the distance would literally just look like black lines moving straight, like they would just kind of glide and float. It was quite weird, and it was impossible to do anything with.
And then when they got in a certain range, they'd be naked, and then when they got a little bit closer, then they would,
so they hopefully fixed an issue with stuff like that rendering. Fixed another issue that caused zombie and wildlife to be immune to the effect damage area from grenades, Molotovs, etc. I think just throwables. So anything that you could throw, maybe IEDs, zombies and wildlife would be immune to it, which of course would be an issue. And as always, they're continuing to update their anti-cheat countermeasures. And they say going forward, they've got a lot of stuff in store for 2018, including stone construction, which will be the third tier of, the second tier of their base building system, right? Isn't it wood, stone, metal? So they'll have the second tier.
Yeah, they're going to metal for the third.
And they said they'll have an update for that in the coming weeks with construction. So they seem to be enthusiastic, ready to go for 2018 as we move into the new year. And I just love the first comment on this Reddit post says updated anti-cheat, and the guy writes a wall of text explaining how he thinks about anti-cheat. So that is King of the Kill. Now moving over to regular H1Z1 King of the Kill. They've done a test server update with weapon tuning. This went live on the 5th. And I'm not going to read through all of the bullet points here, but I'll just kind of mention a couple of per each. The AR, which is the big gun that everybody uses, of course. Slight reduction in vertical and horizontal recoil at first and slightly more recoil growth over time. So if you just sit there and spam or hold down the shoot button, the recoil will be slightly more over time as you hold that down. The AR now deals 40 points of damage when hitting a helmet, meaning that 1 headshot and 3 body shots will be enough to kill a target, presuming that they don't have a vest on, some type of bullet vest. Body armor, exactly, that's what I was looking for. And then the projectile speed has been decreased. The AK-47, which is another popular gun, slight reduction in vertical and horizontal recoil at first shot, slightly more recoil growth over time. Same thing with that. The damage has been decreased to 23. The AR now deals 40 points for the helmet. Same thing, 3 body shots, 1 headshot should kill them. Added semi-auto fire mode. The default key is X, so now you can choose between full auto and semi-auto, which I think will make a big difference here. Yeah. Being able to shoot in semi-auto mode. And there will be a HUD element rather to tell you if you're in full or semi based on either a single bullet or 5 bullets to show those different modes. Projectile speed has also been decreased for that as well. The SMG, they added fallout that starts at 25 meters and ends at 50 meters. And that fallout includes a penalty to the headshot multiplier, taking it from 4 to 2 at maximum range of 50 meters. So anything over that, your headshot multiplier pretty much just goes down and is useless. So that's with the SMG. The shotgun reduced recoil for both ADS and hip fire, increased shotgun effective range, and then tightened the spread slightly. I've been tweaking this now for 3 years, and
yep, they'll get it.
Shotguns are tough. I'm not giving them crap. I'm just saying they've been constantly tweaking it, which is good. Tweaking it means it's not good in its current state, and they're working on it. The Magnum, slightly more vertical recoil, greatly increased the damage to vehicles from 3% to 8%, which I think probably back to where it used to be. If anybody remembers, there was a point where everybody would walk around with Magnums because it was actually quite easy to destroy vehicles with. And it appears that they've kind of tuned that 3 to 8's a large jump. I mean, that's over it's over a 50% jump, or over 100% jump.
I think they wanted to get people to stop trying it, and so they made them pretty much useless.
And now they've turned it back up.
Yeah, and so now they're kind of bringing it, because I think they wanted it to be something that kind of, you tried to shoot the tires out on the vehicle or whatever.
Well, and here's the other thing too, which I think they kind of missed. There was a trade-off to be made with the Magnum. Do I want to carry an actual gun, another actual gun?
You'd have to not carry a rifle.
That was the trade-off. So, I mean, it was a pretty clear decision for me. I was never going to shoot at vehicles. I wouldn't carry one. So now they've tuned it back again. Well, they've turned it back up from 3 to 8. Magnum shoots differently. It shoots slightly slower now, and the refire time has been moved from 420 to 450 milliseconds. And same thing with that, bullet drops slightly increased. Now the sniper rifle, which is our final one here, much more initial sway when first scoping in, similar to probably Battlefield, where you have a decent amount of sway right when you zoom in. Holding your breath, which of course the default key is shift for that, will steady your aim for a while. Audio cues will be coming to that, and potential tweaks to these values in the future. They decrease the time to scope, which is important, which will make it feel a little more snappier. Decrease the projectile speed. Bullet drop was increased slightly, and then the sniper scope was decreased. This is huge, from 8x to 4x. Which
that was the big thing.
That's huge. Anybody that's played PUBG, going from a 4 to an 8 is like having like a telescope looking at the moon and then just looking at it with your plain eye. I mean, it's not even, it's so night and day. Now, I believe this may have something to do with the fact of them having issues rendering things in at a certain distance. And all
that's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm glad we're both on the negativity train on that. And also not just that, but also the idea of that you just getting sniped from a map away, because there's parts in the map where there's just nothing. It's just an open field and you just run across the field. And of course PUBG has that too, but it's a little more, the grass is a little bit higher. There's hay barrels. There's bushes. There's more diversion. When H1Z1 is just kind of an open playing field with some trees. So I think it may be a combination of both of those things there, which I'm sure the people that love sniping are pissed, because it's going to make the sniper pretty useless, in my opinion. I don't normally snipe, but
yeah, I mean, they're getting rid of totally the long range game. Because I think they realize that's not their strong point with the engine. You know, things are kind of a blob at that point, and they're having to do some tricks to get the scopes to go in correctly, and it's probably helping them with the performance a bit too.
There you go. So you can you can check it out on the test server. It's live. It's been live since the 5th, and I'm sure this will cause a shitstorm when it hits live, because people are going to be pissed about the sniper.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than them taking it out, which would probably be the other thing that they would do. If something doesn't work right, usually they'll take it out of the game for a bit, so or just leave it. So I mean, if putting it to 4x and still having a usable gun is what it takes to be able to maintain. I mean, they're doing performance-wise. I mean, we saw with Battle Nonsense, the performance, they're doing good on that. And I think that that's been their big focus, is trying to create, if they can't compete in other ways, they're going to try to compete with something that's responsive.
Oh, for sure.
To try to bring back some of those professional players. So we'll see. You know, if this is maybe that's something that it took, is knowing that you're never going to render something outside of a certain distance at a high quality.
Who knows? Who knows?
All right. I think the final thing is, well, okay, so we've got one other thing I was just going to mention, a game that I kickstarted called Sarion.
Okay.
And this is a dinosaur survival game, and not in the way that you think Ark is a dinosaur survival game. This is one where you're actually the dinosaur, and you start out as a baby dinosaur, and you have to try to survive. And you go through a life cycle, you grow and you get big. And so you have to try to survive as different kinds of dinosaurs. And there's, you know, all the dangers of different dinosaurs around you that'll try to kill you. You have to build a hunt and, you know, just keep away. And so it's a really interesting game. And this I put in just a number of fixes that they did. They're on 1.5.2005 for the version. But if you haven't heard of that game, I encourage you to go check it out. It's not going to be a game that's for everyone. But you know, it's a game that if you're into this type of a survival game, and you just want to see, it's like you against the world. It's not really a multiplayer type of a game. If you're into that, go check it out. Sarion, they are doing regular development. It's a small team, but they're trying to keep ultra accurate to how they think dinosaurs were. So there's dinosaurs with feathers, and so if you're really into it, they've tried to be incredibly accurate with everything that they're putting in the game. So let you live that world. So that is I'm not going to list off all the fixes because most people probably won't know. One thing they did add is corpses now float. That's an interesting mechanic, always fun. So other than that, it's just a bunch of fixes. They optimize the game some with vegetation and things like that.
Now, I want to mention this quickly. Jay Delory posts an image in here, which is a holiday kit that they sent to, I would assume, a streamer or a YouTuber or something like that. And his comment is, if anything, they got money to blow, so that's a good thing, right? And I do want to make the comment on this because I think we've been a little harsh on this stuff in the past. By the way, we've never received any of this stuff, and that's not my point here. Companies set aside money to do things like this are very important to do. And I'm realizing I believe I was quite naive on the topic beforehand. I didn't really understand it until I was in the position where we're in the company I'm in now, where we do stuff like this, even though in retrospect we shouldn't be, because it's a lot of money and we don't have a whole bunch of extra income to blow. But it's important to do. Having these things sent out to, what I guess they would call these people ambassadors, people that are essentially representing the game either on YouTube or Twitch or Mixer or whatever it may be. This is important stuff to send out, and it's a little cocktail kit. It's a Moscow Mule, an old fashioned, and a gin and tonic.
Some vodka.
Yeah, maybe the two-timer would enjoy that. Sorry, Brian.
One thing, so like Google would do this with, like, I've got stuff from Google that they sent me because we were ambassadors. I mean, that exact term you said.
Oh, okay.
They considered us ambassadors. So like I have a sweatshirt
Oh man, really?
from the
That's dope.
like a coat thing. They sent me a passport that it's like a Google passport that I was supposed to use when I go and meet people around the world from Google Hangouts.
That didn't work.
Hey, I met you through Google Hangouts.
We're doing
right?
this podcast because of Google Hangouts.
Yeah, because of Hangouts. So you'll have to, I guess,
Should send a
when we're
royalties.
at PAX, I'll have you sign my passport.
Oh, absolutely. Make sure you bring that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so
Sign
I mean,
passport.
I understand it is something, it's for the people that are doing something above and beyond what you consider above and beyond for your company, whether it's promotion. I mean, for a lot of these streamers, for them, it's promotion, for the game. This is a little thank you once or twice a year that they do to them. And I appreciate it. And, they never really liked us that much. Or I understand why they didn't send them to us.
Yeah, and I get it, but I think the whole point was here, like, and Jay Deloy didn't say this, but I can see the reaction on Reddit is you spend money fixing your game and not sending alcohol to live streamers.
Probably half underage.
No, they're not sending. I doubt they're sending this to people that are underage. I mean,
Yeah, they probably check this.
Yeah, well, that's probably why I haven't gotten anything. Even the beanie, they had to check to make sure at my age before they sent me that H1Z1
like
beanie.
he's not old enough for a beanie.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
It's fine. I didn't want one anyway. But they are totally. They've got a marketing. They set aside a marketing budget per month or per year, and they spend that marketing budget. It's irrelevant what the game is doing. That's their marketing budget. That's what they spend on. I work in media, so companies have a budget set aside for doing stuff like this. And that's just what it is. Is it cost effective? And they probably didn't do many of these. They may have done 50. 50 may even be a lot. They may have done 30. They're
Talk about it's got to be people that are still actively playing this game.
a couple bucks a piece to make. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Maybe $20 invested in all of them. That's nothing crazy. Again, remember, this company is not hurting for cash. They are making money hand over fist on those.
But
crates.
I think it's dwindling. I think the amount that they're making is going down. They don't have the budget that they did have. I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing layoffs and cutbacks at some point, just based on trajectories of here's what we were making last year at this time, and then here's what we're making now, and it's going towards a trend towards possibly going down, based on what we're spending, all the people we're hiring and the server costs and all this, compared to what we think we're going to be making in 6 months. It'd be interesting to see what they do as far as the game. If they start making major changes based on to be able to be financially relevant anymore, we need to cut back here or no longer do this. I think the first thing we'd see it affect is Just Survive, because that seems to always be the first thing that it affects. So if we start seeing more announcements from Just Survive, and I think that's a good hint that that is what's happening.
Yeah. So we will. We'll see. We're keeping an eye on this stuff, and again, understand that they've got money set aside to do these things, and when they've got money set aside to do these things, it's not affecting H1Z1. It's not affecting anti-cheat or gun mechanics.
They're not. It's not taking a part of their budget to where, what are we cutting? All right, exactly. There goes Battle Eye.
Yeah, and you really do have to understand how important it is for them to continue to do stuff like that for their ambassadors, I guess is the word to use. For example, here's a great example. Dave Ramsey, for people that don't know who Dave Ramsey is. Our radio station, the radio station I work for in North Carolina, is an affiliate of the Dave Ramsey Show. Dave Ramsey is on 600 radio stations across the country. That's a lot of radio stations. Every radio station, I believe, was sent a package of holiday cookies from Dave Ramsey. He's on 600 radio stations across the country. That's a lot of money. It's more than 20 people, 30 people. Is that the most cost-effective business thing to do? Absolutely not. But to send that to an affiliate when I go get the mail and there's a box of cookies there from our show, from a show that we air, it's like, oh, that's awesome. I appreciate the effort of them spending. It's probably a couple $1,000s to send that to everybody. But
at least.
But it is what it is. It's just part. It's set aside money at the beginning of the year that, hey, we're going to send all of our radio affiliates a box of cookies and a note during Christmas. That's it. Plain and simple. So,
yep.
Just that stuff is set aside, pre-done, ready to go. It does not affect, unless the company is super, super small, does not really affect production at all. At least it should. Yep. So there you go.
If they're doing it right.
Yes, and that's the main point. If they're doing it right, it shouldn't be affecting production.
All right, so I think the final thing we can go, if we want to do the Rust update,
sure,
and then we can roll it out with it. So should we announce the game giveaway now? How much time do we want to give them?
We can announce.
Or do you just want to do that right after this video?
We can do it after the video. Do you have the update number on this?
This is 192.
Okay, I don't believe I have the right
one.
If you could stall for a second here, I don't believe I have the right one loaded
up. Yeah, so this is devlog 192. They came out with it just a couple days ago, on the 4th, actually 5 days ago. And this is not as big of one as usual because they mentioned, Christmas. Actually, I think everything was been fairly light this week because people are still getting caught up from New Year's, Christmas. I mean, all the way. Nick and I mentioned before Thanksgiving that this was going to happen. Yeah. People get into the holiday mode, and then all the way through the end of December, pretty much very little work gets done anywhere, just because people are on vacation, people are doing other things, like they're having office parties, just everything else is happening.
Yeah, they're getting.
So I think after this week, we'll start seeing things kind of roll back into normal.
They're getting cocktail kits from game developers. It's
everybody's getting wasted.
The whole thing. They're hitting the kegerator. This is a short one, about 3.5 minutes. Again, from Shadowfrax. You can check it out. YouTube.com. Search Shadowfrax. SHADOWFRAX. We'll roll the video. We'll make our comments, and we'll have some other stuff coming up right after this.
Greetings, survivors and friends, Shadowfrax here, and sometimes an update comes out that's so huge, so audacious, so daring that it can only be considered a game changer. Well, that's not this one, I'm afraid. After all, it is only the 5th of January and most people still can't work out what day it is, let alone how to develop a survival game. So, trees? You like trees, don't you? I hope you do, because this week sees the log put back into devblog with news of an overhaul to our trees, which apparently was long overdue. You see, the ones we currently have were plucked from the Speed Tree store, and the goal is to turn over a new leaf and replace these with higher quality custom assets. This has two main benefits, most importantly to optimization, which I know you're all pining for, and Facepunch have already started producing their own models, which in tests have been able to chop down the triangle count per tree by about 40 to 50% and reduce the number of draw calls to 1. This means we could end up with either the same number of trees with better performance or a lot more trees with the same performance. I think I know which one you'd like though. That's right. More trees, I mean better performance. The second benefit, which I just know you'll all be excited about, is that the tree farming minigame could become that bit more interesting, with trees being cut in half when harvested, leaving a stump, which I suppose would look nice. And also tell you that someone else is lumbering around the area. Anyway, the screenshots I'm showing you here are of the first new model, the Douglas Fir, which currently has 4 variants, and more deciduous types such as oak and beech are planned, including extra ground foliage in forests. No idea when these will be in yet, as it is a large job, but stay tuned, and I'll let you know when they appear on the staging branch. A couple of fixes to building were in the commits this week. Shelves and tool cupboards will be destroyed correctly if the construction beneath them goes bye-bye, and tool cupboards can no longer be submerged in rocks, which would make them a tiny bit difficult to destroy. Also, as it was the first patch of the month, there was a wipe to servers, but blueprints have been left as they are. Work is being done to help ensure that the sounds you hear associated with view models in first person actually match up with what nearby players hear when they're near you. Melee swings were finished up this week, with the whoosh of a rock being the same for everyone involved in the exercise, and deploy sounds are also in process, but don't worry, these will be super short range and won't necessarily spoil your attempts at stealthiness. Lastly this week, because yes, it is a very compact and bijou update, AI was one thing worked on over the holidays, with scientist behaviour being completely redone. They now communicate, take cover, run away, and lots more. The loot they drop is more controlled and sensible, and a nav mesh issue was resolved which should now allow them to chase you through the tightest of corridors. All in all, expect to see these chaps fairly soon. Well, that's it for you lot. You're up to date, and if you wouldn't mind leaving me a like and a sub, that'd be much appreciated. Come and join me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and my Steam group too. I shall catch you all soon, of course, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.
All right, and of course, we thank our friend Shadowfrax for another update on that.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Trees. Putting the log back in DevBlog. So,
and those are a huge performance killer. Grass and trees have a lot of what they call vertices.
Yes.
So a lot of sides to them, and that really impacts performance on games. So that's one thing they're really putting a focus in on is the ones that come with speed tree they're not horrible, but they probably at the time when they got them made, they maybe didn't have super high quality textures or something like that. So they're going to go in and they'll probably get a very high quality bark. And so when you walk up to the tree, it looks like a real tree with all the detail and everything else, but keeping that vertices down so you don't have a huge performance drop whenever you walk into a forest.
Yeah, which is literally, that is what you've just described is the trade-off that every game developer has to make with every single decision they make. How good do we want to make this look? How much is it going to affect performance? I mean, that's a little, I mean, Brian.
What's it going to cost?
Yeah, I mean, you look, what is the opportunity cost of that? Oh, it looks great, but it runs like crap on a, 1070.
And it's either have a really sparse landscape, deep buildings with very low amount of items in them, a lot of low detail, versus this is one thing that single player games are able to do. They can squeeze a lot of stuff that create small levels that are very controlled, that maybe you follow a path. I mean, that's how they do it with PS4 games, Xbox games.
Yeah.
You kind of follow a path, but you know what? They know when you're on this part of the path, they only have to show you these are a certain number of items, and there's no chance that you're going to see anything past that. And they design the level saying, here's the limited amount of range that you're going to be able to see. So we're going to stuff everything we can in that small little area, because that's all we know, that's all we're going to have to show.
Yep.
When you have a large open world, the issue is you can't control where that player is going to be at all times. You can't control maybe, here, if they're next to the forest and near this other object, they'll have a ton of items, where it maybe if they're out in kind of a more sparse desert area, there's not very many items, and then the frame rates really get up there. You got to figure out that balance.
Yeah. So it's the constant decision that the game developers have to make.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this next one going. So this will be another 30 points raffle. So exclamation point giveaway. And as I had promised last week, we're going to be giving away another copy of The Long Dark.
Boom.
So this is my copy, The Long Dark. And this is a game that I've talked about a lot. An excellent survival game. If you do not have it, I really encourage you. It's worth $35 right now on Steam. But I really encourage you to go in there and enter for this raffle if you enjoy survival games, which hopefully you do if you're listening to this podcast. But this is a single-player survival open world atmospheric exploration game. But it is a very good open world survival game that they are continually improving. Like, they've improved it so much from the original concept, added a really good game mode that I've been playing through, and this has really good controller support. So this may be a game that I will be playing on my Steam Link with the controller, and actually playing a PC game here, because I won't be able to use a mouse and keyboard like normal for a while. So
have you finished?
I will try this one out.
Have you finished Red Dead Redemption?
No, I'm in Mexico, like a ways through the Mexico area. I don't know how much more there is.
That'll be another great game for you to play, and another game as well, which you probably won't realize, but GTA 5 will be. You could actually play that on your Steam Link, and have some fun with that as well. Those are the games that have. Broforce as well. I don't know if you have Broforce. Broforce is a
yes, I do.
10 out of 10 controller game on the Steam Link, and Rocket League too.
I wonder.
You can stream it.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious on. So I got to find my other Xbox controller. I wonder how 2-player works with the Steam Link.
Works perfectly fine.
Okay, so I'll have to get my
Do you have
second one, and then Laura and I can play some
Is it
games.
USB or do you have the wireless dongle?
It's wireless dongle, yeah.
Yeah, mine worked with 2 players. Initially, it
Okay,
didn't,
cool.
and then it did. I had just had to sync.
So they
them
must
both.
have put out a fix or something.
Yeah. So yeah, I can confirm that it works. I didn't think it was going to, but it does, and it actually lights up first player, second player. I have only tried it with 2. So
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll have to find my other controller. I think it's just sitting in a box in my garage because I've just used it for Rocket League in here on the PC when I was playing with you guys. So, and I think we did a little bit with GTA.
Probably, yeah. Driving
the
a
racing.
GTA. Yeah, you absolutely need it for that. Now, Brian, you mentioned the giveaway. A couple of ways you can support the program, if you feel so inclined to do so, is on our support page. It's infectionpodcast.com/support. And there's a couple different links, a couple different options on here. First one, of course, is our Amazon affiliate program. Everybody buys stuff from Amazon. So if you do so, head on over to our website. If you're in one of the 7 countries we have available, U.S., Canada, Italy, Spain, France, Deutschland, or the UK, click our link, and when you purchase stuff on Amazon, it'll give us a small little kickback, and that's one of the ways. The other way is that you can use a direct contribution through PayPal. Just send us money directly through that. Or the third way, the way that we've really been recommending to everybody and seems to be working out very, very well, is our partnership with Humble Bundle. So you buy games, same price, and it helps us out. An awesome Humble Bundle monthly this month. Unfortunately, I already have this, so I think I'm going to buy it to get the DLC. But Civ 6 and the DLC for $12, which literally is an unbelievable deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could look this up. I think on Steam Store this is like $40.
Yeah, because this is a game that I haven't bought the most recent one of, just because of how much it cost. Yeah, Civilization 6, $60.
Oh God. Okay.
$60 to buy it on Steam, and that's without the scenario packs.
There you go. So this is quite the deal.
Yeah, and they put out a notice saying this is the lowest price it's ever been.
And it probably will be. So head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/support. Click on the big red Humble Bundle icon. Click on monthly, and we normally say these bundles are good deals. This one is an unbelievable deal. If you've ever played a Civ, if you ever think you'll have the inkling to play Civ 6, buy it at this price, because you will spend literally 2 to 3 times that any other time of the year. The lowest, I think I bought it for $40 and it was on sale.
And you let's see, on here it's Steam controller compatible. They have a bundle where you can buy it with the Steam controller. So it's controller, so you can use a controller with this game.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not very great. It's very hard to move.
I wonder with the Steam controller, because they have those thumb pads. I wonder if it's easier on that. I don't know. I should consider getting a Steam controller for my Steam Link. I've heard that they were bad. I heard a lot of people didn't enjoy them.
Lance doesn't like it. He had it, hates it. He's the only one I've ever heard say.
Yeah, and they're like $50, so I don't know. I think I'll wait.
But nevertheless, infectionpodcast.com/support. This is probably the best deal you will see for a Humble Bundle for many months to come. This is I'm amazed at how low price this thing is. Quite incredible. Yep. So there you go.
Very good. Great way to support the show.
Yes.
All right. So let's just as a reminder, next week we're doing Unturned.
Mm-hmm. This week.
Make sure you show up. Or, sorry, this week. This Friday we're doing. You guys are doing Unturned. So I may
not be there
if I'm stuck. Yeah, I might be stuck on my couch, and maybe I'll be messaging in
you could
Discord or something.
Bring a pair of headphones. You could. Hey guys, it's Brian. I'm Brian, podcast host.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to talk. Yeah, so make sure if you have Unturned, which you should. I mean, it's free, so you can't say I don't own it. Just get it installed and download it, and then we'll play around and have some fun.
Yes, and then again, quick note: board game geeks, board game fans. We've been playing a lot of really cool games. Played Fun Employment. We played a very hardcore game of Sorry. A very hardcore game of Life, the game of Life. Which is
I remember playing that as a kid. It was a fun game.
It got very competitive. I lost somehow. I was very far ahead. I had an unbelievable amount of cash, and I lost by $200,000. Very frustrating. We've been playing a whole bunch of stuff, and we've really been enjoying it. So if you are a board game geek, if you've got the board game stuff, the Tabletop Simulator, hang around in the Discord. Saturday morning-ish. I've been getting up incredibly late on Saturday, so I've just been getting up and playing tabletop games all day. Been fantastic. So check Discord between 11 and like 3 or 4. We play then, and then we typically play a little bit later on in the night. So if you're interested in tabletop, hop into our Discord. The link is on our website, infectionpodcast.com.
That's probably a game I could play, actually, with one hand.
Sorry?
Saturday. Yeah, on Saturday. I'm just saying anywhere. On tabletop, you can play with a mouse, pretty much.
You can play any game with one hand, yeah. So we'll be playing a lot more tabletop games with Brian while he's recovering from his surgery there. Now, Brian, current players has kind of dropped off the face of the earth. We were away we pre-recorded our Christmas show, which of course didn't have current players. We did our show on New Year's, which for some reason it was remote. No. Yes, it was remote.
You were up in New York, and like we were having issues with.
Well, it was remote. I didn't have the processing power to be able to do all that stuff at the same time. Last week, Google Time Warner Cable in North Carolina.
Nothing Google worked for you.
In North Carolina, across almost all the state, people with Time Warner Cable Spectrum were unable to access Google, which made me unable to access the show notes, which I use a spreadsheet that updates into our video software. Couldn't even get to steaminfo.db. It's been 3 weeks since we've had current players.
People are chomping at the bit.
I mean, when you got the most important segment on the show, the favorite segment, it's people start getting a little frustrated. So I've got a full smorgasbord here of you for current players. So here we go. Current players. What are people playing? Who's playing them? Let's jump into it right now. All right, King of the Kill. These numbers are up, actually. Currently playing this, 6,747. The 24-hour peak, 16,340, with a 70 peak of 23,197. This is up. This is the highest it's been in a couple of weeks here. Deacon pointed that out to me in Discord a little bit earlier today. So more people are jumping back into King of the Kill. Moving on over to Ark Survival Evolved. Currently playing this, 44,469. The 24-hour peak, 61,664, with a 7-day peak of 84,126. We're playing Unturned Friday night, and so are 10,000 other people right now. 10,915 currently playing this game. The 24-hour peak, 22,072, with a 7-day of 31,593. An unbelievable amount of players playing Unturned. And finally, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Currently playing this, almost 500,000 as we speak, sitting here right now. 475,521. The 24-hour peak, 2,882,162, with a 7-day peak of 3,165,053, which is an insane number. I mean, we're talking about 3.1, not active, not in a 24-hour time scale. It's 3.1 million concurrent players. This game has been out for less than 12 months.
And it really throws off the whole kind of putting it in perspective of the numbers. Because I remember before this came out, we would look at the different games, and so, some games would seem really high. But now that we have one that's dealing with just like millions, it really is. It's kind of messing with everything.
Well, Ark was the high game. I mean, do you remember when Ark broke 100,000 current players? It was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is absolutely insane. And now PUBG is gaining anywhere between, before it was anywhere between 25 and like 250,000 players a week, which is insane.
Yep. So, I mean, hey, hopefully, as I said last week, it just makes developers realize that the PC market is a competitive market.
Yep.
And not everything's going to be console. Put money into the PC market, because that's still. I mean, I've been enjoying playing Call of Duty and things like that on console, but PC is still, games are a lot cheaper. First of all, uh, you almost always pay full price on anything on Xbox or PS4, which is frustrating.
There you go. It's legit.
All right, so let's go and roll into tip of the week. Tip of the week's where I either
What's tip of the week, Brian?
Have we?
No, we have.
Tip of the week's where we generally go into a specific game or maybe a general gaming tip. This week, since we're giving away a copy of The Long Dark, is going to be a tip for The Long Dark. This is tip of the week. All right. So one thing with the recent changes to The Long Dark is you need to familiarize yourself with the new menu system. They went through and did a total UI overhaul on the game, and it looks much better. I think it's personally, I like it a lot more, but you'll have to go through and get yourself used to where things are at, because there are not only have things changed, but there are new things on there as well. One thing they've added is you now have a quest system. It gives you different tasks to accomplish as you go through the story mode. As you complete a task, it allows you to continue on in the story. So if you don't realize that right away, you may be sitting in an area just trying to survive, not realizing that there's only one little small thing you need to do. Maybe you need to gather an extra stick, or you had to find this certain item, and then it'll continue on in the story to the next section. So make sure that you do that. You look at your task list, the quest list, before you run out of all your resources and die because you've used everything up and pretty much wasted time in that area. Also, make sure that you're not missing, small little details on there. They have nice description text on there. Read it closely and see what it says. One thing you can do is press J, and that's for journal on the PC, and it will bring up your journal. This can give you side quests you can do. If you do those side quests, they give you additional loot that you can find on the map, which is very important on here. This is a survival game that it's very important to find everything you can, use every resource available to you. And also go through all the different tabs. There's a row of tabs along the top that take you through different things on the menu system. Click through each one so you see what's on there, and you know what to look for, and maybe some things that you haven't seen before. Because you might find on there certain steps that you have to do. For instance, when crafting an item, it may be that you have to make another item that then you use in crafting another item. So go through there and take a look at each item that you're able to craft, and then look at the ingredients on each of the items to see if there's a reason you're not able to craft this one item. Look at some of the other items it needs and make sure that you don't need to craft something else. So that should tell you that they've done a really good job with this game. It looks beautiful. Firebomb mentioned the game's beautiful looking, but also they've done a really good job with the interface and making it a nice, easy to use game. You just need to go through and get comfortable with it. So that is tip of the week.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes.
Let's
All right.
see.
So we want to go ahead and do this last one, or is there anything else we need to cover?
Just searching through the notes. I believe we've gotten it all.
All right. So once again, McWallace 420, he has one. So almost everyone else I think has this game. So we will, yeah, he was the only one who entered for it, which is one of our better games, one of our best games. So congratulations. You'll really enjoy this game. And I'll send you a message with it.
Excellent.
So, and this was a recent Humble Bundle game as well. So that's where we've had 2 copies to give away.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people already have a copy. The Gadlaw saying he's got a copy. Yep. I think a lot of people bought this during the Humble Bundle.
Yep. And it is, I mean, it's a really good game. So if anyone doesn't have it, if it comes on sale again, I would encourage you to go check it out.
Absolutely. All right, Brian.
All right.
I think this is
If you want to find me
wrap it up.
Do you want us ready to rolling out?
No, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, or go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, as I said, go check out our website. If you want to join us for some of the board games, join us for Game of the Week on Friday nights. Come jump in our Discord. We put notifications in there. Also, if you want to suggest different news items for the show, that we have a news channel on there that you can go and post different links to articles and things like that to allow you to help input on what we discuss. Also, if you're looking for different show notes, go check out our website. We have a link for each show that we've done with a video, audio, and the different text notes for every single one, back all the way back to episode 1. So I would encourage you to go check out our website, support us in whatever way you can. You don't have to just give us money, but if you go to Humble Bundle, if you shop on Amazon, click one of our links and it will help us out. We're saving all that money for PAX. So that way we don't have to fundraise quite so much when it comes up to the time of
which we do need to discuss. My only hesitation with PAX, and this is just a personal thing, my life has changed so drastically in the past 6 months that I don't know where I will be in what is it, July or August? So we'll see. But yeah, our plan is to head out to PAX West 2018, which is in July, August. So if you're planning on heading out there, there's a good chance you may run into and when I say I mean the Infection Podcast. So
yes.
we were mobbed at PAX East. We had so many people taking pictures and signing autographs. I mean, my wrist was killing me. Signing all those autographs, panels. Yeah, I mean, Brian, you remember this? All those people lined up, and do you remember that?
Yep, that was good.
Do you actually? Do you have any?
No,
idea?
I don't remember that.
All right, so this totally off topic here. So we're at PAX East, and we're in the we're on the second floor of the convention center where they have a whole bunch of the panel rooms. They maybe sit like 150 people. So there's all of these. I think like Markiplier and like another YouTuber are doing this panel. So they've got all of these children going to this PAX panel, and the security's like, "Oh no, you can't go through here." So being from the Northeast, I just walked right through.
The press, I could do whatever I want.
Because we were going to the press area on the other side, and as we're walking, like one of them comes out, and everybody is screaming and cheering, and I was just waving to the crowd like I was some big deal, and it was great.
Yeah, a kid come up, asked us who we were, and
that was fantastic. Yeah, it was.
We had to be important. We were in front of everybody.
Yeah. Scary. I was like, can't go through. I was like, okay. Walk right through. All right. So hey, what can I say? Kind of a big deal. Brian, thank you very much. Good luck on your surgery, and we will talk to you here next week. Alrighty, ladies and gents, Friday night, Unturned, join us. Saturday, probably some board games, and then next Tuesday for another episode of Infection. Again, we are live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, 7 p.m. Tune in, win games, interact in the chat, do all of that fun stuff. That's going to do it for episode 156 of Infection. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. See you next Tuesday at 7.